Hello violinists, welcome to Prime Strings. I'm Henriette and today is day 14 of the Virtual Violin Practice Playalong. Thank you for coming here today. It is so good to see you here. Today we're going to extend our bowing practice a little bit. We're going to learn a new exercise which is called the rocket. And then we're going to think about what our wrist does in the bowing a little bit more in detail today. And then we're going to make our left hand a little bit stronger with some more trills exercises. We're going to revise the A major scale, and finally we're going to do our improvisation. So please stay right until the end and join me for my improvisation later on. So let's get all your things ready and let's get started. Let's begin today by tuning your strings. So here is your A. The E string. The D string, and the G string. So we're going to do a new bow exercise today, and that is the rocket, and I'll show you how it goes. We're on the E string here. We're making a little bit of smoke, and then off goes the rocket, and as it goes off in the air, you want to try and bend your little finger and also your thumb underneath the bow. So will you join me? We're starting on the E string right at the point of the bow. And now you just shake your bow hand a little bit. All I'm doing is this, just to make a little bit of smoke. And now let's count down, shall we? 3, 2, 1, off you go. And then you bend your fingers in the air. So you may have noticed that when we were making some smoke right here, my fingers are straight and my thumb is straight as well underneath, you see. It is just when you go up in the air, that's when everything starts to bend. Let's do this rocket again, shall we? On the E string, right at the point, make a bit of smoke. 3, 2, 1, lift off. And up you go. Okay, so this is not a shooting off like that, but it's a very gentle lift off. And then can you see my fingers go? Okay, let's do it again, shall we? Right at the point. Are you ready? Make a bit of smoke. 3, 2, 1, lift off, and really bend those fingers. Gorgeous, very good. So that warms up your bow hand really nicely. And now we're going to think about our bowing a little bit differently from how we've been doing it so far. And what we're going to practice is this sort of movement. And when I bow like that, I'm going to pretend I'm going to pull a little bit of string on this side of my wrist, and I'm pulling my bow this way for an up bow. And then as I play down bow, I pretend I'll attach my little string that side. And I pull my wrist that way. So I'm pulling it this way, and now I'm pulling it that way, and this way, and that way. And you might actually try this first without your violin and your bow. So let's put both your violin and your bow down, and we'll just practice it without it. And now I want you to pretend you're playing a down bow, pull your piece of string this way. And now we're going to play an up bow. Pull your wrist from this end and then go that way and up and that way and up bow. We know that when we're playing an up bow, we're bending our fingers, so you might incorporate that as well. And when we're playing a down bow, we're going to straighten our fingers. So practice it this way, up bow, down bow. And your wrist is now going to be the first part that is beginning to move. So your fingers are going to follow on from your wrist. You see? Stretch your fingers, bend your fingers. Stretch your fingers, bend your fingers. Now that is a bit strange, isn't it? You can imagine it also if you move like a washcloth in the bath and you draw a figure of 8, that is what's happening with that washcloth. It's making that corner there and then it's coming this way. And then as you go around this corner, it's going that way. I'm giving you these little images to imagine what's happening with your fingers. So let's now pick up the bow and your violin, and we're going to practice how that works. So for working out how that goes on the violin, let's go on the D string. And I'm going to start here, and now I'm going to try and pull my wrist from a little string that's there. So my wrist is going to go first. Okay, and as I play up bow, I'm going to try and let my wrist go first as well. Down bow, let your wrist go first. Up bow, let your wrist go first. Down bow. That feels a bit different maybe from how you've always thought about it. So your wrist goes that way, then your wrist goes that way. Now, it doesn't matter if today is not your day and it's not coming. You will start to mull that over, hopefully. And in a couple of days, you get your head around it and you think, oh yes, that might work like that. And other people might say, oh, this is easy for me. But we're all built slightly differently. We've got different muscle strengths and different shapes. So let it come, allow it to appear if it's not yet here today. Okay, with so many other things in this course, we've said, for instance, with the shoulder blades, I don't know if you remember, some people feel it immediately, others may take a little longer, and that's okay. We're in no rush to develop it. Of course, we want to play our improvisations as well as we can, but in these exercises, we're just exploring possibilities, and that, if you give it a chance today, I am very, very pleased that you're here to follow me. Let's now take a look at our left hand and let's continue the work that we've already started on strengthening our left hand fingers. You may remember that we were thinking about our left hand fingers as being on rubber bands. So we pulled the rubber band up and then let it spring back, and that's how our finger came to tap the fingerboard. Can you remember that? Now that is what we're going to do, and we're going to practice our tapping on the E string. So let's just go on the E string and let's tap the fingerboard like that. It's probably easier to hear the tapping with your second finger. That's it. Third finger. So the quicker your finger springs back, the harder the tap is. So you pretend you're lifting it up, pulling it back, and off you go. Yeah, so really lift it up high. That's it. Fourth finger. Really pull it away from the string and bang. Good, good. So I'll play you the trill exercise, then you can join me. So first of all, we're going to trill on the open E string and then trill with a first finger. Okay, so we're playing E, an F sharp to start with. And so if you do that and you feel the nail of your finger touch the string, then you might just stop this video for a moment, cut your nail a bit shorter and then come back to it, because that is a horrible feeling, I always find. Now let's play the first finger and then a G natural, so close by, second finger, here we go, and good job. This time let's play G sharp, so F sharp to G sharp. Like I've said in the past, if you find that I'm playing too many notes on the bow, then split your bow. By all means, use your own bowing, because this is just a left hand exercise, isn't it? One, and playing G sharp to A, so the raised second finger to a third finger which is close, and good job. Next up is G sharp to A sharp, so a space away for your third finger. Make sure you pick up that third finger really high so that it can rattle on the fingerboard when it comes down. 1, 2. Good job. Is your thumb still soft on this side here? Because now we're doing a normal A now, and we're going to trill with a fourth finger which comes close. So A to B flat, shall we say, and now for a super challenge, we're going to go A to B. Ready? And good job, and give your arm a well-deserved break, just stretching it out and letting the blood flow again. Lovely. Okay, let's play an A major scale now, and we're going to play a long tonic and then quavers for all the other notes. So we're going to go like this. So the lowest note A and the top note A are both separate bows. And in between, we're playing 2 notes slurred. Will you join me? 1, 2, and. Well done. So I'm hoping that you get this floaty sound with the bow after all of the bow exercises that we've done so far. Remember, we haven't talked about this aspect at all today, but your elbow determines your string levels. So when you have 2 notes slurred, especially on your way down, when you've got 1 note on the E string and 1 note on the A string, really adjust your elbow levels there. Let's try that again, shall we? 1, 2, and. when you get up the scale, here you've got a slur which has the third finger and the open E string. While I play the third finger, I'm going to just slightly drop my elbow down to prepare for going to the E string. And the opposite happens when you go down. Here, E, there, lift your elbow up so that your bow goes to the A string again. So let's play the scale one more time, shall we? This is going to be your very best. And awesome. And you'll find that as we progress through this course, you will find yourself integrating more and more of all those separate techniques that we have been practicing. So we are getting a big collection of all sorts of ideas about violin playing, about bowing technique, about left hand technique in our heads, and eventually these will all integrate in your playing. So here is the first step to that. So let's now play the A major arpeggio and it. And those of you who are a little bit further advanced, you may now start to integrate that wrist movement that we've practiced at the start of this lesson. Let's play the arpeggio again, shall we, and see if that works. 1, 2, 3. I am ever so curious now to find out how you're getting on with this, whether you are able to integrate that. So if you feel like, do write me a little note in the comments section. I do get to see these comments and I will respond to you there. Now it's time for our improvisation, and we are going to improvise in the key of A major again. So think about all these notes of the A major scale and arpeggio. Those are the notes that you're going to use in your improvisation. And I'm going to play you the call, and I want you to respond with your own idea this time. So no more copycatting today. We're going to do different versions. So we're still going to play 4 bars of 2 beats. So you might count to 8 if you like. And we're going to use only the notes of the A scale and A arpeggio. So I'm going to start easy and gradually we're going to make it a little bit more complicated. Well done. So we've now done our 4 sets of call and responses, and I'm hoping that you have finished your response on an A. And that is the next thing that we're going to add to our improvisations. and you can see how we've progressed from just playing random things to now really thinking in that key of A major and also playing a set number of bars. So you've come an immensely long way with your improvisation. So what we're going to try and do now is try and finish on an A at the end. So because I'm not ending this improvisation, you are going to end it because you're playing the response to my fourth time playing. You will need to take responsibility for that and finish on an A. And that might be a high A or it might be a low A, it really doesn't matter. If you find it too scary, don't just play a very long A in your last response, because we need to finish on that tonic of A, you see. So let's try it again. I'm playing a different one. Here we go. Oh, it's such a shame I can't hear that, because I'm really looking forward to hearing that one day. Anyway, I hope you have finished on an A, and if you did, that was awesome. Very, very clever. And if you didn't quite make it, here is another opportunity for you to do it. We'll do that one more time, shall we? Did you manage that? Did you end on an A there? That was really, really good. So you're advancing your playing all the time, and that is really what I love. So well done. Well done for putting your trust in me and coming along with me on this journey. It's much appreciated. And we're going to build on what we have started today, namely thinking a little bit more about the tonality of where we're going. And that will be one step up from here. Tomorrow in day 15. So now is the time to get your ordinary music out and play the things that your teacher has set you. You're properly warmed up now, so all is set up properly for your practice now. So good luck, and I very much look forward to seeing you in day 15. Goodbye.